Tuesday at 6, catch another edition of Quick Slants. Tommy Curran has the latest on the Patriots as we get closer to the NFL draft. It's presented by your local New England Honda dealers. Time now for tonight's Dunk and Dunk of the game. It's all about the dunk. This is in the third quarter. It's all about Jason Tatum. Boom. From the top of the key, making it look easy. JT 23, 13, and 7. Another double-double for Jason Tatum. And we're going to go back down to the floor, to the locker room to hear from head coach Joe Mazzulla. The coach's press conference is presented by Amica Insurance. It's the exclusive auto, home, and life insurance partner of the Boston Celtics. Here's Joe.
Joe, Neemias found a lot of success early, especially, but throughout the course of this game. What have you seen from not just his pick and roll partnership with Tatum, but just the chemistry he's been able to develop throughout the course of the season with all of your guys' ball handlers?
Yeah, one, I think he was great defensively. Just his positioning and protecting the rim for us, also his rebounding. But offensively, he's just, like you said, different guys have different coverages. There's different matchups. He was guarded by some few people, and he's just doing a great job making reads in the game and controlling the paint on both ends of the floor. With his offensive rebounds, getting more comfortable finishing in the paint. So, just becoming dynamic in the way that, we can attack. And he's making reads in real time really well. So spends a lot of time on that. He's getting better.
And then the Raptors clearly like to run a lot. I know they scored a lot off of, I think you guys had 15 turnovers in the first 3 and they scored 20 points. But even when you guys were making shots, they were still picking the ball up and running. What's the key to sort of slowing that down throughout the course of the game?
When you lay the ball in, try to stay on your feet so you can get back. Don't have a high ball turnover.
Okay, thanks.
Joe, did you like the defensive pressure your team showed in the final quarter? Held them to 24 points.
Second quarter they held them to 20. I thought the game opened up for us in the middle of the second quarter, where we were playing really good defense getting out into our offense, so the second quarter was great. Third quarter, obviously we lost it by 5, but I thought the end of the third quarter we were decent, and then I thought the whole fourth quarter we played well.
Joe, I want to get back to Neemi for a second, because the ability that he's showing to read those coverages, like you said, and slip when they're switching and all of that. How much does that kind of free things up for Jason and Jalen? Like those guys you're running pick and rolls, and if you have to worry about Neemi, then that kind of really messes with what the defense.
It opens it up for our team. Because we're able to execute versus different coverages, and so it opens it up for everybody. Peyton's pick and rolls with Neemi when he catches it high, and you get handoffs downhill. Derek making reads, and so I think just his ability, his screening and his reads opens it up for all of us, because we can run our actions, we can see the 2-on-1s, we can make the right play, and he's just been doing a great job of that. So yeah, it helps Jason and Jalen, but I think it helps our whole team as well.
Jay, just. What did you think of Vooch tonight in his return and maybe areas where he might have been a little rusty today?
He was fine. He was good. I think it was only 13 minutes. I thought, offensively, he made the right reads, missed a couple. Second half, we kind of went to, it was almost, we were looking at some different matchup stuff, so didn't get him in as much as we wanted to in the second half. But he was fine, I thought, and we just got to continue to get him acclimated.
Joe, Jordan had the steal and then the dunk on the other end. What do you see from him tonight?
Yeah, just a guy you can rely on. I like, what do you have tonight? 13 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever he's starting, you can just rely on him to be impactful defensively. But also, his crashing and his ability to drive closeouts is getting better. So, and that's key this time of year. You want guys that when you put in, whether it's 5 minutes or 20 minutes, you can rely on them to make plays, and he does that, especially on a defensive end.
Joe, with Nikola, he played a little, then he got hurt. Now he's back. Do you have a designed role for him, or does he have to kind of develop a role? Like, it seems like everyone on the team is kind of fit in where you put them, but
no, his role is as a big is one, defensively controlling the paint with rebounds and his pick and roll defense, and then offensively just being dynamic to, we don't quite know how teams will defend him, so sometimes we just have to be able to read that in real time, right? And so I think his role is just like our other fives is they're the connectors, they're the people that make plays for us on the offensive end with their screening, which he takes pride in, and then defensively, rebounding and controlling the paint. So just getting him better and better at that.
Any concern about him trying to do too much or fit in too?
Vooch?
Yeah.
No. He just wants to win. He's been in the league a long time. If anything, making sure he's aggressive enough to where we have the best version of him so that, we could, have a different layer of what we want to accomplish is the most important thing. And I think, up until this point, the best version of him for our team is kind of what we saw in the Miami game, so we just have to, get that back and replicate that.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks.
Joe Mazzulla there talking about Nikola Vucevic, who did make his first game back in return after being out for almost a month. 4 points within his play, 4 and 4. And no, I look at Vooch and when he's able to just come back, he's trying to get like a feel for the game. There was one point where Peyton Pritchard is crafting up into the paint, doing what he does, and Vooch is like running around being like, where is this dude going? And it worked. It had actually, translated into points. But what did you see out of Vooch here tonight?
Yeah, he's in a tough spot, right? Because this almost felt like his debut to me because this is his first time playing with this complete Celtics team. He's been sidelined for a month now. They've been playing really well, so he doesn't want to come in and disrupt anything, and I think that's what Joe was getting at towards the end there. But, they were better when Nemi was on the floor. That being said, I'm not going to extrapolate too much considering he hasn't played in a month, so he's coming back, trying to figure everything out. He's been watching like a coach, studying film, but we all know it's different when you're actually out there. So they have a couple more games here, and they're going to continue to go to him. They didn't play Luka Garza in this game, and I think that makes sense because Luka knows how to play with these guys. Like, you don't need to test it out. He already knows how to. But I see a world where maybe they get to the postseason and they realize, we need to go to Luka a little bit more. But I would like to see tonight, like that effort, that type of opportunity, he get that 4 more times to see if he can get acclimated.
Yeah, and he's working his way back to Aaliyah. When you see, Vooch just trying to find his flow. He only played, 13 minutes here tonight. You would imagine that takes some time to just get into the flow of it, but also he's kind of still learning this team. Since he was acquired from the trade deadline, he has to find his groove. So how does that work when you, at this level, season's winding down and playoffs are about to be on the line?
Yeah, it's a challenge. It's a challenge to be accustomed to everything so fast in a short period of time. But, I'm going to give him a little grace for tonight. I think also coming off being out for a month, he still kind of produced, put up numbers, did what he can. But I think what Joe was saying tonight was he just wants him to play the best version of himself. And that's all you can ask for with such a dynamic and talented team like the Boston play. Everyone's just playing their role and doing what they do very well. So I think that he came in and did good minutes. It was only 13 minutes, but yeah. It's a start.
And when you're eventually, hopefully for the Celtics, getting to see him hit that shot from downtown, because when he was in his rhythm, when he wasn't hurt and playing, he can shoot the three. And I think that's something that the Celtics will definitely appreciate moving into playoffs. Another thing that the C's appreciate is their guy, Jaylen Brown. Fantastic yet again. It's to no surprise, right? 26, 6, and 3. No, he makes it look so effortlessly. I think about that buzzer beat 3 that he had in the corner. He's just poised, and he mentioned this too. The game's just slowing down for him.
That's the biggest thing. He's always been this incredible athlete from the day that he got to Boston, but he's playing slower than ever before. I actually went back and watched one of his games from like 5 years ago, and I was like, oh my God, he used to be so fast. And then I'm like, no, he actually is still that fast, but he has just slowed down and he's making reads better. He's kind of picking his spots. His decision making has really improved. And again, there was so much discourse around, was Tatum's return going to hurt Jaylen? It's helped Jaylen. He has been more efficient. He is getting to his spot. There's more options for him. The floor is more open. And again, you can't always have the best defender on him or have 2-3 guys shading towards him because you have Jason Tatum on the floor alongside that.
When you look at Jaylen Brown, what stands out to you the most?
I think he's just a glue player, and we always need one of those players on every team. I love playing with those players, because you just don't have any worries, any concerns, especially when Tatum was out for most of the season. He's the one who held everyone together, composed the team. I love his demeanor. I love players like that, super competitive, kind of got that dog in them, but don't show too much, you let the game do the talking. Even with the buzzer beater shot, like he hit it, he waited, pulled the follow through, and then just ran back on defense. Like that's crazy. I definitely would have celebrated. I'm not sure about you guys, but that's just another level that he brings, another great pro habit that a lot of people can feed off of, and you need that on every team.
And that's what you're going to do with the Connecticut Sun. You already been doing.
You know what I'm saying.
So You see JB here, we're going to see you at Mohegan Sun. Aaliyah, thank you so much for being here and your presence. You are awesome. I'm so excited for your season. And great job on the call here tonight, the all-female broadcast. Get a good look at her, everyone. Aaliyah Edwards for the Connecticut Sun. Season is approaching, but it is time for tonight's Drain of the Game, brought to you by John Sewer and Drain Cleaning, the name to know when the drains don't flow. JB, boom.
That's a sick
Usually
shot.
we say buzzer beater P, but it was buzzer beater JB. He made this 78-75 at the time, and the Celtics and Jaylen Brown, they win this thing 115-101. The season is winding down. Just 4 games to go. 53 wins on the season. We got more to break down coming up here on Celtics Post Game Live. Another edition of Town Fair Tire BST with Felger and Hawley. Mike Felger and Michael Hawley give their takes on the biggest sports stories of the day. Time now for the steal of the game. It is brought to you by Stop and Shop. With more than 10,000 items on sale every week, it's easy, like that, to make winning plays at Stop and Shop. A steal from JT to his guy, D. White, at the other end. Made it look easy. But cookies. Good sprint and transition. Derek White with the finish. Celtics win 115-101 against the Raptors. Noah Delzell back here with us on the show. Noah, 4 games left.
Hard to believe.
How we doing? We got a pulse? Everyone's okay? The Celtics look great.
Yeah.
So 4 games left here. The Hornets on Tuesday, the Knicks, they travel to MSG. It's going to be a nutty environment on the 9th. Then the Pelicans, and they wrap the season up with the Orlando Magic. But when you look at some of the standings, you know, if the Knicks, by the way, they play Atlanta tomorrow night. If they lose, that magic number becomes number 1. So when you look at all the seeding and everything, how much does it matter factoring in for the Celtics and their success down the stretch and then into the playoffs?
A couple things. The weird thing is it's not really in the Celtics' hands who they're going to play in the first round right now. What I'm really watching is 6 through 10 and what's going on in the play-in, because Boston, I'm pretty confident they're going to get the number 2 seed. But what does that even mean? Because we have no idea who's going to win that 7-8 play-in game. That's going to be their first round opponent. So that's the part of the bracket that I'm more fascinated in right now, those games. And the funny thing with how the schedule turned out is that there have been so many potential first round previews over the last few days. I was just in Atlanta and Miami. Those are potential first round matchups. Yep. We just saw another one today with Toronto. You know, that is Charlotte potentially coming into town. So it's interesting the way the schedule panned out. And you mentioned MSG. I'm looking forward to that game. It's also going to be interesting because that's where Jason Tatum tore his Achilles. So there's a level of emotion. I wonder if there's something to think about there. He's been back for a month now, but Jaylen Brown's been carrying a chip on his shoulder at MSG all year. He said it. They eliminated the Celtics. That carried extra weight. But there's also that's where the injury was. And we've seen before, guys, it takes a toll on you. So I'm curious to see how that impacts him.
It's definitely going to be emotional because one, with that crowd, the Boston-New York rivalry, what happened a season ago, and, you know, for Jason just to go out there fresh, doing his thing, that's something I'm excited to see. Also, it's going to be a playoff-like environment. So what a good way to split the last 4 games and kind of get that playoff feel ahead of the playoffs. Which one of those teams, before we go, would you like the Celtics to see? Does it matter to you? Do you think
in the first round?
Yeah, the first round.
I think Toronto. Maybe this is just short notice, but you know, truly they've dominated them the 4 times they've played. I've liked the way the game has looked. Even though there have been stretches where Toronto's outplayed them, I don't see a world, famous last words, I don't see a world where they beat them in a 7-game series. Yeah. And the other teams, they have more of a pathway to victory.
4-0 sweep against Toronto. Hey, this was a lot of fun. I appreciate you joining the show here today. This is a really fun all-female broadcast. Thank you guys on this Easter Sunday for hanging out here with us. Did you have fun?
I had a blast.
Joe Mazzulla, you were popped up there on the screen.
I know. Yeah, interviewing Joe is the scariest part of the day. Everything else.
Oh, come on. You ask him questions left and right.
I know, it's just different when you're sitting up there.
There's nothing different about you. Did great. Awesome fun here. A great time. Thanks, Noah Delzell, for being here with this great day. The Celtics, they're back in action Tuesday against the Hornets, and our coverage, it begins at 7:30 p.m. with Celtics pregame live presented by TD. And then stay with us after the game for highlights and player and coach reaction on Celtics postgame live presented by your New England Ford dealers. And you know the drill. Remember, you can stream all of our coverage on the NBC Sports app and NBCSportsBoston.com. The Celtics live stream is brought to you by your New England Cadillac dealers, the official luxury vehicle of the Boston Celtics. 115-101, 4 games to go. And then everybody, it's playoff time. No, favorite part of the day.
Favorite part of the day. I like that Jordan Walsh steal. I like seeing a guy fall out of the rotation and come back.
I thought you were going to say my interview with Joe or like that. But
nah, I'm here for Jordan Walsh.
Noah Dalzell's favorite play of the day. Nothing to do with the broadcast. Jordan Walsh getting the steal. It was fun. Thanks for hanging with us. Happy Easter, everyone.